Testing. 1, 2, 3. Starting off with wearing favorite band's t-shirt, favorite album from that band. The band, Someone Still Loves You, Boris Yeltsin. The album, Broom. Guess it's going to be flipped on your end. We'll see when we're done with production. Alright. Well, hello. Well, this is the first. Let's get that set right. This is going to be the first video that I shoot of this kind for the BK Understanding YouTube channel. So hello, this is BK of BK Understanding, the primary singer-songwriter of the band. In fact, I do have a drummer, and my friend is a guitar player. JR is the guitar player, and the drummer's Tim Paul Rugg, who play with me as much as they can, and when we have full band shows. But primarily, BK Understanding is my project. Much like Sam Bean's project is Iron Wine. Yeah, it's a band, but it is his project. And I do hope that BK Understanding does turn more collaborative as it grows. But at this time, we launched 4 years ago. Okay, anyway, we launched it 4 years ago, or JR and I did. And it quickly did turn into me trying to finish up some songs I'd written before we officially launched BK Understanding. So, unfortunately, it did turn mostly into my project. I do hope it returns back to more collaborative with JR and Tim in the future. And if they're unable to do it, whoever else appears, and shows up and is part of the project. But anyway, long explanation just to say, it looks like I could lower this. I'm going to pause there. Probably cut this, and I'm going to lower this a little bit so we have better. Okay, this is a little bit better. So we'll pick up about here. Okay, anyway, that being said, we do have music out already. If you're new to BK Understanding and for some reason you came across this, or if years down the road we have grown enough that you are going to our back catalog of videos and finding this. At the time of this video, it is September 28th of 2021. Still in the COVID-19 pandemic. Hopefully getting closer to the end. Hopefully more people are getting vaccinated and waking up to a lot of the misinformation they've been fed their whole lives and stuff, and sobering up to the reality of science, and maybe acknowledging their own ignorance. And that's a hard thing to do, especially because we often use the word ignorance as an insult, when in this context, really, I mean it in the context that we all, as human beings, have ignorance. We all do. And that's why a good education is very important in this life. That and spiritual awakening, in my opinion, those two things combined need to really sober us up to reality. Yes, we should always be hopeful for the things unseen. We should be. We should always be sensitive and hopeful and imaginative and all those things, but we need to be grounded in reality. So hopefully more people are doing that and getting vaccinated. This is being filmed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where I live presently, the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area. And I live in one of the cities of that area that is still predominantly conservative. Therefore, there's still quite a few people who don't wear masks and aren't vaccinated. So hopefully we are getting near the end of the pandemic. All that to just explain what was going on at the time of this video. I have no desire to get into politics today. To me, I'm just stating facts. That's the reality we live in. That being said, at this time also BK Understanding has published 2 do-it-yourself albums. The first one is called Beginning Kernels, and it was the acoustic demos that came about as I was figuring out the recording process and how to make my own rock album or music album or whatever. So the Beginning Kernels is the first one. I recommend you start with the second one, though, Basal Keystones, for this time period. And there is a third one planned. It's halfway finished, called Burning Kindling, and hopefully it'll be even better than Basal Keystones. That's the hope. But at the moment, time of this recording, the best album we've put out is Basal Keystones, and that's the closest so far to the album we set out to make. So that's up, and then I also have Makeshift, the JC Elevated Studios mix, I Don't Want to Die, The Kingdom is Cyan, Magenta, and Yellow, Oh How I Wish You Were Here, Get Back Up When You Fall, and soon Naylor Irby Game Love. So for sure 5 singles are up. I just listed them off, and the Naylor Irby Game Love is set up. Well, it's being, the date's not set officially yet. It's been submitted to my digital distributor, and we're waiting on their approval for that. But I'll announce that as soon as it can. And on that note, that song, Naylor Irby Game Love, the music video for that is finished and will go up soon. And I have a feeling it will quickly become our most viewed video. It's a pretty good video, and it stars the couple that inspired the song. I wrote the song for their wedding, and they actually star in the music video. So they're well liked in their community, so I have a feeling that music video will get a good amount of viewings early on. And I've been told it is a great song from other people. So, and I'm proud of it, you know, and especially because it encapsulates, and it's my way of honoring my friendship with the people that I wrote it for. That being said, you know, I've been eager to get on YouTube for multiple reasons. One, I want to grow BK Understanding's YouTube channel. We need more fans. We need more support. That's just how it is. And the music industry is so different now. It's cool because someone like me, a former high school English teacher and former HVAC technician, former freelance writer and editor and all those things, you know, someone like me can just decide they want to do it. And that's oversimplifying. Like, I've had the desire to be a singer-songwriter for decades, honestly. And but I've written a lot of the songs that I've published recently over the last 15 to 20 years, I would say. Just depending how far back you go. Like It Came to Me by Night, one of the songs on Basal Keystones. And on one of my Beacon Kid albums, the guitar music, I wrote that in 2003. So, but I didn't have the full song. I just had the music for the song, and I had no idea what to do with it. And it was when I was learning to play guitar. And at the time, I was listening to a lot of Shane and Shane Bernard. And if you've ever, you know, you might be familiar with them if you grew up in the evangelical culture here in Texas. Very talented singer-songwriters, extraordinary voices, and Shane Bernard is a phenomenal acoustic guitar player, just very talented. Anyway, I was listening to a lot of them and trying to learn how to replicate how he strummed that dang guitar. And so I wrote that riff in 2003, a long time ago. But lyrics didn't come to that song until, I want to say, 2016. And so anyway, that being said, I mostly wanted to pop up here and introduce myself. I want to do more of these. I want to do more of these vlog things, and hopefully YouTube's algorithm will send our videos to more people. I want to connect with more people. I've lost tons of friends over the last 5-6 years. I have. It is a reality. And I think it was inevitable because I've changed, you know. And some things I used to believe, I don't believe anymore. And I'm not going to go into details about that. I do fit into the ex-evangelical movement. I will say that I personally do still testify of faith in Christ. I do. Me personally. BK Understanding is not a Christian band, but I'm just being straightforward there. But I'm an ex-evangelical. I do not believe in organized religion and all that stuff that you probably hear, you know, liberals say and all that stuff. And I'm speaking here of growing up in a conservative culture, like that negative stereotype there. So anyway, a lot of my views have changed. Some things have not changed. And again, pointing back to that faith. So people who knew me, a lot of these friends I lost, I went to church culture with, that evangelical culture with, and I had to leave that. So simply by leaving, I lost those friends, and it was a hard thing to do. And it was shortly before the pandemic hit when I finally made the hard decision to break off from the main group of friends I had had for so long. And it It was, about 60 people that I had spent many years of my life with and grown with and come to love, and just seeing how shallow those friendships were. And because instantly I lost all of them, just by not going to their church anymore. And so, and I say church, I want to say church. I'm not going to go into details today on that, but anyway, that's kind of the nature of the beast, if you will. That being said, I lost a lot of those friends, and then I am in the minority here in Texas because I'm an ex-evangelical and I'm not conservative. So I want to be straightforward with you there. I am not conservative. I'm very impatient with conservatism. I'm going to be straightforward about that. And again, it has to do a lot with my faith and where we're at now as a society, and the negative effects of it, and just the inevitableness of seeing the reality of it and what it cost. So I do want to be straightforward with you that if that is something you can't go there, you're like, well, I'm a conservative, and I if that already sends off the signals, then you know what, go ahead and just close the video, move on. Because at this point, I'm not going to try to drag you. I'm not going to try to pull you along with me anymore. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to progress. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to change. BK Understanding is going to do likewise. We're going to continue to grow. We're not going to sit around and beg all of the people who gave us lip service all those years and said they would come to shows and buy our album and support us, who never showed up. We're not going to keep expecting that to happen or change. We're going to progress. We're going to move forward, and that comes with hard things. So if my honesty about some of these things I've mentioned today has already sent out red flags, I can't go there, then okay, you've made that decision, cut off. I'm not interested in trolls or arguments. I will not engage with those things. I may not even engage with sincere questions on those topics. I'm not guaranteeing you that I will, because I have a lot going on. I just don't have time to do that. But eventually I will get into those matters. Probably I'm going to start another channel for that stuff, because I do want to talk about those things despite all the animosity that will come with it. But again, the main reason I wanted to kick off today and get this started, I wanted to quit putting it off, and then two, lately I've been posting a lot on social media about the importance of Bandcamp to us, so I really want to touch on that topic. So, a lot of the people who follow us right now are people from my hometown, or I grew up with, or who are acquainted from me from that time in my life. And so most of them who do listen, I think, listen either on like Spotify or Apple Music. And thank you. Thank you for listening at all. Thank you. And so I post a lot of things trying to highlight that what would help us in the short term, like immediately, the most is if you bought the digital albums off of our Bandcamp page. And so it's not a jab, like, man, it's not a screw you for like choosing other platforms. That's not what it is. I'm just expressing a need that Spotify and these streaming services pay, like, last time I looked it up officially, less than 1/10 of a cent per stream. And at the time of this video, none of our songs have reached past the 1,000 listens mark. We're still new to the stores. All of our albums have been put up over at the end of 2020 last year, so almost a year. I think the Beacon Kid one's been up a year, I think, and then the Beacon Understanding stuff was like a month or two later, so not quite a year. And so we're still new to the store. We still are building up our audience. So all those songs are like less than 1,000 streams, so that's nothing. Like, no, I hardly get any of them. And then some people have bought the albums off of iTunes, and again, thank you for that. Thank you. And I see like a very small percentage of that money comes to me. Most of that money stays with Apple, to be honest, especially if you subscribe to their music streaming service. So kind of explaining that. So I don't have facts in front of me, so this is just off the top of my head, and maybe I'll do a video with more of those facts. But I'm sure tons of people have published the facts on here. Like, I know there's that Damian Keys guy who talks about a lot of stuff with like streaming services, and he's trying to keep up on all the trends in music, and good for him. Sometimes I watch his videos and they're helpful, they're insightful. Well, most of the music, most of your subscription that you pay, it's going to the service itself. like there aren't a lot of funds that go to the singer-songwriters, the bands. Like most of that stays there. I mean, the guy on Spotify is a billionaire now. He was not a billionaire before he started Spotify, unless my history is incorrect. But he's a billionaire now, and yet you just see it's so hard for musicians and bands to make it. And that's, in some degree, that's always been the case. However, if you had a song popular enough to get airplay on the radio for decades, that produced a more substantial amount of money, way more than a tenth of a penny per listen, and it's just a much more viable platform. So here's where Spotify and them get us. They say, yeah, but you have the potential to continue to make that money. Well, you did the same thing with radio, and so it's not that part that's wrong with it. It's the amount we're getting for stream. It's not right. And so really you have to be a megastar to make a reasonable amount from streaming. So all that to be said, Bandcamp, it's like buying physical media from us. You go there and it's similar. They keep a small percentage because they are a business, a Bandcamp. You know, it is their platform. But we get like a little over 80% of what you spend there. And then like over the pandemic, they started doing like these, I can't think of it, like I think it's like Feeless Fridays or something, where they don't charge any fees to help out bands during the pandemic because, you know, especially last year, live music was shut down. And so they haven't completely shut down live music in 2021 since it's been reopened. But it's still not like what it was before the pandemic. And so they started doing like Feeless Fridays. So sometimes they don't take any money. So like when on those, I try to post when those happen, we get to keep all the money that you spend on the store. And then it's our job to put aside the amount we have to pay in our taxes and stuff. That's our job. And so your money goes directly to us. And on a normal day with Bandcamp, they keep less than 20%. I don't remember the percentage off the top of my head. I know that it's less than 20%. And so, you know, at the time, I just really wanted to explain that to anyone who maybe sees this that has been on my social media, which eventually I will delete. I do not like Facebook. I hate Facebook. I really only like Instagram for the mindless scrolling and looking at all the pretty pictures. And right now, it is the most fruitful platform at the time of this video, where I am able to engage a little more with people. The DMing is a little better, like if I want to DM another songwriter or artist, you know, I've met some artists through there and stuff like that. Instagram's a little bit better. It's still owned by Mark Zuckerberg, unfortunately. That makes me not like it, but and then Twitter. I do have a Twitter, but you know, you have to be a Twitter person right now to really engage that. I would like to eventually either delete all those and just stick with YouTube, or have someone else run those things again, like I did in the beginning. So I really would like this to take off, and I'd like to build a YouTube community. And I wanted to at least get it kicked off today. It looks like we're sitting at almost 20 minutes. So I better go ahead and end it here today. Anyway, you got a lot of starting off information. I do tend to rant and ramble on once I get started and know what I'm going to say. Mostly I wanted to get on here and say hello. I'm BK of Beacon Understanding. I also have Songs of Faith I publish under the Beacon Kid right now, if you're a person of faith and you want to check those out. And if you want to support us right now, the best thing you can do is buy our music from our Bandcamp pages. So before I hang up, I just want to tell you our Bandcamp pages. I'll put the URLs below, but if you just go to https://BK and the understanding, no caps, all one word together, .bandcamp, so Bandcamp, all one word together, .com. Go there, and man, if you could, just buy our albums there. Eventually we will offer physical media, but right now, at the time of this video, we just have them up on digital platforms. So that's the best way you can support us right now, other than watching these videos. And on the short term, Bandcamp's more helpful. And then if you're interested in the songs of faith that I've written, I have one album up at the moment, and I'm going to be trying to finish up another one soon. I just need to mix and master it. But that's the Beacon Kid, and if I remember correctly, I think my URL is thebeaconkid.bandcamp.com, but I will post it below. So anyway, thank you for watching if you've watched, especially if you've gotten this far. I am BK, and I hope to get to know you guys more, whether, you know, if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now, come to a show or get me a show somewhere. I'll play in your backyard as long as you pay. And right now I'm mostly doing acoustic shows, but if you can afford to pay for a full band, I will get the band together. And you know, other than that, maybe, you know, comment. At the time of this filming, I probably do have time to engage with the comments more. As it grows, I may not be able to do that as much. I'll try my best, but what I do not want to do is spend my energy on trolls or arguments or religious people who employ apologetics, and I'll get into that another day. But thank you for watching. BK Understanding. We appreciate you. Maybe after this, watch our music videos. Thank you.